Hello, welcome to the interview here on France 24. Well, my guest today, Aslan Arfa, began taking photographs with his father's help at the age of 8 in his hometown of Tehran. Now, more than 3 decades later, Arfa has established what is an international reputation, and he's known for never being shy about tough assignments that show the reality of life, both in his native Iran and elsewhere. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Aslan, I just want to ask you right away, you have recently photographed animal fighting in Afghanistan. You photographed child labor in Iran, women Peshmerga in the north of Iraq. One of your most recent projects, though, might be one of your toughest, perhaps. It's called Black Crack in Iran. What you basically did is you went to the back alleys of Tehran, your hometown. You went into the parks. You went into people's private homes, and you photographed them doing something that I imagine was very difficult to get them to allow you to do, taking a very potent form of heroin called black crack. We're going to look at the photos, but I want you to explain sort of how you got these people to trust you. Let's bring up the first photo here from your book called Black Crack in Iran.
Okay.
And just sort of, that's the cover of the book. The photo, I believe, shows a man with an injury. Is it a woman or a man? It's this one right here.
No, this one is a man.
Yeah.
He's showing his injury. Yes, that's true. And the needle is still in his hand. And he was a nice guy. I met him a few times. He was a crack addict, and his name was Hassan. And I met him a few times in Tehran, and after I asked him many questions, and we became kind of friends at that time. I haven't met him afterwards, but I know he was very afraid of using crack, and he was just telling me that take some pictures of me to show how bad it is to use.
So he actually encouraged you to take these pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, when you found him in this park, the UN says there's over 3 million of these types of crack users in your country today. And you said to me earlier, it's about 10% of the population. That's enormous.
It's you can't trust on my number because I don't know the exact number. This is what we think or other people think about it. UN is they were starting with 12 years ago with a number of 2 million, and now I think after 10 years it has increased much more than that.
Let's bring up the next photo here, because this is a broad societal phenomenon. It's not just men, obviously, who are taking these drugs. What we see here, obviously, 2 women smoking, and it looks like you're actually in their home, it seems.
Yeah, I was in their home, and these were also using crack, and it was a girl with her mother, both of them using crack. Crack is, they were smoking crack, they were not injecting. The number of women who are addicts are less than men, and usually they are not smoking or injecting publicly. And there are less women injecting.
Fewer women. Now, I noticed that the one on the right there, she's not wearing any sort of head covering. Is that unusual often?
Yes, in the public they can't be like this, but in their houses many of them are not wearing hijab.
Okay.
But in public it's forbidden to not to wear a hijab.
We have another one, I think, showing 2 women actually, and in this case, can we bring that the next photo up? It looks like it's that same woman we saw earlier, the young one. Is that her mother there?
Yeah.
So this is an interfamily thing. She's lighting up for her mother.
Yeah, they were the whole family were addicted. One of them died a few years ago, and the brother was HIV positive. 2 younger brothers, they were both addicts, but they quit. They managed to quit, and it was very good thing. And even one of them when I met him was kind of 12, and he was
really
he quit,
young. This starts at the earliest of ages here. Now, I'm not here to talk about politics today. You're a photographer, and you see your job as seeking the truth through photographs. But clearly, some of these photographs, it's a statement about the society. Why do you think that this has become such a problem here? Maybe we could show the next photograph as you're telling us.
This is a very hard question.
They're in their family right now. That's
Yeah.
actually another family home.
Yeah, this is the same family.
Okay.
But it's a very hard question to answer. I'm not a researcher to tell you exactly what are the problems, but I think one of the reasons addiction is an international problem. It's not just Iran's problem, but we have like long borders with Afghanistan and Pakistan, which they are the main producers of opium and heroin. So one of the reasons could be that, but there are also lots of other social problems which we have, which I think scientists must work on it, and that's it.
And try to find some sort of solution. Now, let's bring up, there's another, I believe, photo of a family all together smoking, or at least maybe a family and some friends there. You took it, I guess, standing up over them and everything. Tell us about the actual drug here. We call this black crack, and it's not what we think of in the West as being crack. It's a much more potent form. It's based on heroin, not cocaine.
Yes, exactly. It's based on heroin. It's crack heroin. It has the same procedure which they are making crack cocaine, but they're using heroin as a base. And it's much purer than heroin, and it's much stronger, much stronger. It's like when you're using it, you're being high in just 5 minutes without like even some people. Yeah,
and the effects afterwards.
It's very strong. It's even people are like having their needles in their hands and getting high without having time to take it out.
And this is because we know that in Iran they've often smoked opium. People with a little more money smoked opium, but you say the heroin that this is based on is much cheaper and stronger.
Yeah, I can't tell you it's much cheaper, but opium is like traditionally it was used in Iran like many years ago. In some cities, when they have guests, even now they are giving opium to the guests, but. Heroin is much stronger, and many of the opium addicts, because they can't use opium the whole day, they're turning it to heroin, which is much stronger. They think that when they're using heroin, they need less money.
I want to bring up another photo here because a lot of your photos, like I said, were taken outside. This was clearly taken in a park in Tehran as well?
Yeah, this was in a park in Tehran. There were 3 actually, and I saw these 2. They're extremely high, so I took the picture from them, and it was like I started to. They were injecting when I saw them, and I just asked them whether I can take pictures or not, and then they became high without giving any answer to me. I took the pictures.
And you just started taking the pictures as they were. So you caught them in a moment. They were clearly. It didn't even seem like they were aware that you were taking their picture.
No, not really, because they were too high to understand.
We have another picture, perhaps taken in the same park. I'm not sure that we could bring up. This struck me because you just see a real suffering on this man's face here. You know, life's going on in the background.
Actually, he was explaining his life to us, to me, and then he started to cry. So, and I started to take pictures from him, and it was the exact moment which he was crying, and he was just nagging about his life, and he has lost many things, and
showing the despair. Now, in some cases, these people were at least conscious. We have another photo here. If it's the correct one, well, if we could take the caption down, a man just unconscious there. You found him like that, or
yeah, it was like that, and it was like there are many of them like this in the parks. The parks are being changed, like they are going to different parks. Sometimes there are more addicts in one park, sometimes in another park, but in like usually when you're walking in and the parks are located in South Tehran, which is a poor neighborhood.
Okay.
And
so this is common sight to see something like this. Yes. The final photograph I want to show in the time we have left. Let's bring this up right now. Very interesting. It looks like you have some sort of municipal worker. That's a bucket of syringes that he's just pouring into the back of a truck or something. This is something that the government recognizes this problem. They know about it. They're trying to help these people.
I think yes, they know about it because they are like these syringes and needles are collected by NGOs, which they're working close to the parks. So I guess that NGOs are warning the government about the problem, and actually these NGOs are being helped by the government because they are having their methadone to quit by the government. So
and you were telling me earlier, actually before this interview, that there are drop-in centers now in the city where people like this can go for help. Can
have their lunch or food, and can have they can use methadone, and the government is giving methadone to these DICs, and they're just distributing that free of charge.
Aslan, we have to sort of end it here. We've run out of time, but I just want to mention your photos have received wide exposure outside of Iran. They were published actually last week in the Paris Match magazine here in France. They have not been published in Tehran. You say it would be very hard for Iranians.
Yeah, I guess it could be very hard for Iranians, and I have few pictures in different newspapers, but just single pictures, not a series of pictures. So I think it's not very wise to publish them in Iran like this at the moment, because of many reasons.
But it's a sensitive topic, but they are getting a lot of exposure here. I really thank you very much for joining us today. We've been speaking to Aslan Arfa, Iranian photographer, about a recent photographic project called Black Crack in Iran, in which basically exploring what is a widespread drug-using epidemic in the Iranian capital, a society with a lot of problems, and this is a social problem that has to be tackled. Thank you very much for being with me, and thanks to all of you for watching the interview here on France 24.
Thank you.